what's going on YouTube? So I've been working on my my Smart Carb SC2, and on my last trip I was having a little bit of issues. Not necessarily with the carb; it's not really the carb's fault, but I was tuning it and kind of lost track of where I was tuning and kind of had some issues. So first of all, one of the things that you should know is that if you set the idle air screw to a setting and you're like, I don't know what it is, I need to get back to default. It's supposed to be like 1.8 millimeters from the slide. So I'll try to show that. Maybe I can put the slide in here. Sorry, I'm doing this with not normally how I do it. Okay, so we're gonna put this slide in like that. Okay, so right there, you're supposed to have in that little tiny gap, you can just barely see it. Maybe if I do it, there you go. Okay, well, you get the point. So there's supposed to be a little 1.8 millimeter gap there. And if you fiddled with your idle set screw right here to the point where you don't know where it was, there is a way. So if you look at your book that they send you, try and make sure you guys can see this. I know it might be tight. Okay, so they give a measurement of where the idle set screw was set from the outside. So this is going to be 1.34 or 0.734 inches, and that is from this point to this point, which is going to be from here to here, which is essentially to the wall here. So if you got a set of calipers, I already set these up to 1.34. Let me flip the camera around. It helped me a little bit. Hang on a sec. We're flipping around. Okay, so 0.734 inches, and that's from this little black nub to the tip of the screw, which when this thing is threaded in is actually against this wall right here, right? So here's our little black nub. There you go, the little black nub, and here's the tip, right? So I have a set of calipers. They're not on anymore, but they're set to 0.734 inches. You're just gonna go in and you're gonna feel it against the wall like that, and so it touches just like that. That should give you your factory default setting of 1.8 inches, so you can start over. All right, so another thing that I encountered was on my metering rod and my slide. Let's see if I can pull this out. Oh, let me pull this out. So here's my slide. And another issue that I encountered is I could not feel the detents anymore when I was trying to adjust. And so just so you know, when you are adjusting, I'm gonna make sure I don't lose all this stuff. Got a little ring there. There's a little lock ring down there. I really should have done this better. Okay, so when you're adjusting the clicker, what you're doing is you're actually unthreading this part here from this. So I'll show this in a second. Okay, so you see how this unthreads, just like that. And what that does is it changes how far in this metering rod is going. So what we want to do, obviously we're going to put this back in by default. We're going to stick that inside. Now, what happened is there is a little detent ball right there. If you can just barely see, it's a little shiny thing in the center right there. And again, sorry I don't have any proper lighting. On mine, what happened was that this little set screw had backed out. And it's very, very, it's machined. And I could see how some vibration would actually get this to kind of come backwards. So what I used was a tiny bit of yellow Teflon tape. Wrapped it around that. And then I threaded in. And now what that does is that when I stick, of course you got to stick the spring in. I know, I'm not doing a great job with my camera work here. Wasn't planning on filming this, but Okay. This little nub here goes one direction. If you look in the bottom of there, there's only one direction it can go into. Okay, so that would go in like that. And when you push down, it's going to hit that little detent ball, and it's going to detent on all these little grooves. And so if your ball is too far out, you're not going to feel those indentations, which means adjusting the carb is going to be really, really difficult. So hopefully that explains, if you're having that issue, what to do. You basically just got to thread that in. If you want to add a little bit of something to make that threading a little bit tighter, I suppose you could, like I did. And then you should have your detents back. I demonstrated, but I got only one hand at a time here because I'm going to hold the phone. All right, folks. So hopefully that helped you out with setting your idle set screw on your Smart Carb. And also, if you're tuning and you're missing your detents, you can't feel the detents or whatever, your detents. Now, one thing I will caveat is even if you can't feel the detents, if it's still turning, I believe it's actually still changing the idle mixture. So as you're turning it clockwise, you're pressing down on the clicker, which is this guy here. As you press down on it and then turn it clockwise, normally if it's operating correctly, you would feel the detents. That detent ball is there. But even if you don't feel the detents, you're still unthreading that little knob from the metering rod, which means you are making adjustments. So that's something I didn't realize. So you don't necessarily have to open the whole thing up, especially if you're already out, like I was out riding and everything like that. And I couldn't feel anything, so I was like, I don't think it's turning anything. So I was just going like crazy, and of course it was turning. I didn't know that. So hope you guys found that helpful. And if you got to tune your carb or anything like that, I'm so bad at outros. Hope you guys found that helpful. Take care. Bye.